Okay, hey guys, I'm going to try a vlog. Starting to lose track of the upgrades and mods that I've done to the KLR 650, and a good friend of mine, Melon1, suggested that maybe I should do a vlog and keep a video record of what it is I've done. So here we go. Bought late in the year 2015, brand new, brought it home and rode it. And after about 3 weeks decided that I wanted to put some Farkles on it, so ordered the SW Motec crash bars, rocks risers, a 12 volt outlet, and the Oxford heated grips. Put the Motec bars on it right away. The grips and everything else I've done this winter. So Motec bars fit nice. And they look good, and I'm hoping that they help me in a crash, although that hasn't happened yet. The rocks risers were fantastic. Where are they? They're in there. Really nice. Get the handlebars up, a little more comfortable, but with the stock windshield, I couldn't move the bars ahead enough to make myself really comfortable when I was standing on the pegs. So I started putting together my own windscreen riser. The inside piece is made out of sheet metal. These outer pieces are made out of sheet metal. Sent them to a friend of mine. He powder coated them for me. Just got it all bolted back together. Works really nice. Doesn't look too bad. And little piece of fuel line here. Save that sharp edge. But what it did allow me to do was to move my rocks risers more vertical and tip my handlebars forward. And now, when I stand on it, it feels fantastic. Haven't had a chance to ride it in this configuration yet, but I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot better. Footpegs, another issue. They come with the rubber footpegs, and they're very slippery in the wet. These ones, I think, cost me about $10 off eBay. Put them on, they work really well, but I needed them moved out slightly, so I've cut a piece of 3/8 plate steel down, drilled it, remounted the foot pegs, and now I have a nice wider stance on the pegs. The IMS shift lever, couldn't get my boot between the foot pegs and the shifter, so that really helps. Then electrical. So I have a line run from the battery to here that I can unclip. Maybe not one-handed. There we go. That I can plug in to my Genius battery charger, and it charges the battery directly. Also gives me a point to disconnect all of the accessories that are on the bike for troubleshooting. When that's plugged back together, that line runs up forward underneath the windscreen lower here, and in there is all the connections that run to the 12 volt outlet, which powers the GPS, and it also runs and powers the Oxford heated grips. Now I just got a RAM mount for my phone, which might make that GPS obsolete. We'll have to see how that works this year. If so, I'll take one of them off. It's getting a little crowded up here. MSR bar pad came off my old CR250. Some brush guards that I had kicking around. I think they're Zeta. That's an addition. What else? Old luggage bags that I had off the RF 900. They're on there now, work good. Husky toolbox, I think it's an electrician's toolbox. Mounted it on the back. I had it mounted further forward, but had trouble getting the seat on and off, and also made it crowded when I had a passenger. So I moved it back and then filed these edges off. They were square like this. Now they're filed off so I can open and close my toolbox, which gives me just a little bit extra storage. Also have a tank bag, and it's an old school tank bag, not magnetic. That has the clips. So I made Made a nylon webbing bracket that goes around the front part of the frame here and clips in, similar to other designs that are out there. And then it runs down and goes around the Motec crash bars, and it's very secure. Then added Moose Racing fender bags, and they fit perfectly on the crash bars. So this one's loaded up, the one on the other side's empty. I'm waiting for my tubes to come in, and tire spoons. So they'll go in there, and should help keep the weight a little lower, and keeps the back box a little more empty too, so I can use it for run around and errands. What else? I made, out of some stainless steel, fairly heavy gauge stainless steel that I had kicking around, I made a bracket to protect the rear reservoir. Also made another piece that goes around my muffler that's a heat shield standoff, just in case those bags, when they're full, touch it. Right now they're pretty good, but they may rest on there a bit. Then I took apart all the rear suspension, greased it. Pretty common knowledge, but there's not much grease in there from the factory. Took that all apart, re-greased it, put it all back together again. It's good to go. Did check the valves, a bit of a story there. It was hard to start in the fall when the temperature started getting really cold. Online the guys say common cause of that is tight exhaust valves, so I wanted to have a datum point anyway, a reference point on where my valve tolerances were now, so I can track it later. Pulled the head, checked my valves, had one that was tight, out of spec tight actually. So I put new shims in there, put it all back together, and it starts like a dream. Also did the mod where you rotate the exhaust cam one tooth forward. I think it's called the MC mod. Not entirely sure. But I've done that too, so we'll see. We'll see if that does anything. Pulled the little plug out of the bottom of the carb that hides the idle mixture screw. Checked it. It actually was pretty close. So I've really just put it back where it was. But now at least I can get to it if I do need to adjust it for any reason. That's pretty much the list. The only other thing that I forgot to mention was the little case that goes behind the license plate. Actually fairly handy for the ownership and registration. And on this side, the tool tube. And I had to cut a little bit out of the plastic work here, down around, because usually that's filled right out there. Made a bracket for the top of the tool tube to run up, and it actually screws in behind that side plate, and the bottom mounts to a bracket that was already existing, which is nice. And I think that's about it for now. I'll add to this as it goes. It's still apart at the moment because I'm waiting for the that one long subframe bolt to come in, the drill through. So I'm going to do that. I actually had an issue when I was putting the Motec crash bars on and was kind of struggling with it. I should have taken it apart, but I didn't, and thought the bolt was just tight and turned it in anyway. What it's done is stripped the left side threads slightly. It's actually not awful. And I have a new set of Continental tires up top to go on when these ones are done. I have 1,600 kilometers on the bike so far, and that rear tire already is down. It's maybe 25% gone. It might be more, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, so the new ones are on the hoist there, ready to go on if I find I need them sooner than later. And I think that's about it. As more stuff pops into my head, I'll put them on video. So there you go, Melon 1. That's the list to date. See you guys.